5 muscle cars that changed history forever. Muscle cars weren't just about horsepower, they were symbols of rebellion, speed, and American pride. In this video, we're diving into 5 muscle cars that didn't just burn rubber, they rewrote the rules. These machines didn't follow trends, they created them. Number 1. 1964 Pontiac GTO, the godfather of muscle cars. The Pontiac GTO is often called the first true muscle car. It wasn't the most powerful or the flashiest, but it started a revolution. Pontiac took a boring mid-sized Tempest and gave it a 389 cubic-inch V8. With tri-power carburetors, it pushed out up to 348 horsepower. That power, in a lightweight body, meant serious speed. It could hit 0 to 60 in under 6.5 seconds. Wild for 1964. The GTO offered affordable performance to everyday drivers. It was a factory-built street racer in disguise. Young buyers loved it, and competitors scrambled to catch up. It sparked the muscle car war of the late 60s. Sales exploded, and suddenly, big V8s in small cars were everywhere. Its name GTO was borrowed from Ferrari, bold, cocky, and totally American. It looked aggressive, sounded brutal, and drove like a beast. It wasn't just a car, it was a cultural statement. It inspired songs, movies, and endless imitators. Without the GTO, the muscle car boom might never have happened. By 1964 standards, it was a monster. And by today's standards, it's still a legend. The GTO showed Detroit and the world that performance sells. 2. 1969 Dodge Charger RT, the muscle car icon. The 1969 Dodge Charger RT wasn't just a car, it was an icon. With its long, wide stance and hidden headlights, it had presence. It came standard with a 440 Magnum V8, but you could option it with the 426 HEMI, one of the most feared engines ever made. The HEMI delivered 425 horsepower and a roar that shook the pavement. On the street, it was intimidating. On the drag strip, it was dominant. But what really launched the Charger into pop culture was the Dukes of Hazzard. The orange General Lee jumped, drifted, and flew its way into TV history. It wasn't just fast, it was tough and stylish. The Coke bottle shape and flying buttress roof were pure 1960s flair. Inside, the Charger had muscle and comfort, perfect for cruising or racing. It represented Dodge's peak performance era. Even the base engines were strong, but the RT package brought it to another level. In NASCAR, the Charger ruled the banks. 3. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454, the peak of power. The 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 was the most powerful muscle car of its time. Under the hood was a massive 454 cubic-inch V8. The LS6 version made a brutal 450 horsepower. It had 500 pound-foot of torque, enough to spin tires in any gear. It could do the quarter mile in low 13s straight from the factory. That was supercar territory in 1970. It came with a cowl induction hood that fed cool air to the engine. The styling was aggressive, wide, low, and full of attitude. SS stripes, a blacked-out grille, and dual exhausts completed the look. Inside it was basic but purposeful, just enough comfort to keep you focused on speed. It came with a heavy-duty suspension, beefy tires, and a strong 4-speed manual transmission. The Chevelle wasn't about finesse. It was about muscle, raw, loud, and unfiltered. This car pushed the limits of street-legal performance. It made competitors nervous and insurance companies furious. Soon after, the muscle era began to fade due to regulations and rising costs. But the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 stands as the peak of that golden age. It's the car every gearhead dreams of owning, a legend built on power, and it delivered. 4. 1965 Ford Mustang, the birth of the pony car. The 1965 Mustang wasn't just a muscle car, it was a revolution. Ford called it a pony car, but its impact was massive. It had style, performance, and affordability all in one. You could buy a Mustang as a daily driver or as a street racer. Its long hood, short deck styling became iconic. With engine options ranging from a 6-cylinder to a 271-horsepower V8, there was a Mustang for everyone. It wasn't the fastest car, but it was the coolest. Sales were explosive, over 400,000 sold in the first year. It created a whole new market segment. The Mustang inspired cars like the Camaro, Challenger, and Javelin. It was compact, sporty, and fun to drive. It appeared in movies, songs, and high school parking lots. It was freedom on 4 wheels. Ford kept improving it, adding the GT350, Mach 1, and later the Boss 429. But the original 65 model started it all. It showed that performance didn't have to be huge or expensive. The Mustang proved that image, excitement, and speed could be accessible. It became a legend, not just for gearheads, but for everyone. No other car captured the spirit of the 60s quite like the Mustang. 5. 1930 Plymouth HEMI Split Telluri. The 1971 HEMI Cuda was the last of the true monsters. With a 426 HEMI V8, it delivered 425 horsepower and brutal torque. It was loud, flashy, and intimidating. The styling was sharp and aggressive, with gills on the fenders and a shaker hood. You could get it in wild colors like plum crazy or lemon twist. It looked like it wanted to fight. Only 190 Hodas were built in 1971, making it one of the rarest. It was the end of an era. Emissions and insurance were killing performance. But this car went out with a bang. It did 0-60 in around 5 seconds, quicker than most Ferraris at the time. The suspension, brakes, and chassis were upgraded for serious street racing. Inside, it had high-back bucket seats and a rally dash. It wasn't subtle. It was a rolling piece of muscle car art. Collectors today pay over $1 million for original HEMI Cudas. That's how important this car is. It symbolized everything great about the muscle era and why it couldn't last. It was fast, raw, loud, and glorious. The 71 HEMI Cuda didn't just change history. It was history's final roar. It said, its final roar was an aspect before. It said, it's a leadin' 9. It's become cars as a table to learn slow, coming up to me. These 5 machines weren't just fast, they redefined what cars could be. They captured imaginations, ruled the roads, and left burnouts on history itself. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And if you love muscle cars as much as we do, hit like, subscribe, and ride with us every week. See you on the next cruise.